Hey, you're listening to Hip Hop Hooray right here on KOOP 91.7 FM, community radio for Austin, Texas. This is the best in underground, conscious, global, and local hip hop. And today I'm so very excited to have in studio with me local hip hoppers themselves, the Triggermen. Thanks so much for joining me, you guys. Glad to have you in today.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
We're talking to Gilladrins, Shannon, and Yosemite of the Triggermen today. You guys, this is your fourth full-length release coming out on Friday. Tell us a bit about where you started.
Sure. So we started in 2004 in Dallas. Me and Yosemite have a history of bands together dating back to the Denton college days. We ran a hip-hop residency in Denton, took it to Dallas, and then moved to Austin 8 years ago?
Yeah. So we got our started in Austin about 8 years ago. This is our second album we've released in Austin, second on vinyl. So we're going real retro in this. Digital download, big release coming up. So we're very excited about it.
I've heard a lot of great things about Denton as an incubator for artists. Did you feel that way when you were there?
Yeah, totally. We, like I said, we ran a residency. We haven't been back in a while. But we're headed up there soon. But when we were playing, we had a group of about 10 or so rotating MCs we worked with, and that kind of came through. We played at this pizza bar called TJ's, and so we ran that every Tuesday night. And so it was wild. We had all sorts of cats up there just hungry to get on the microphone, and resident DJs back before Serato, it was all just put in your CD and go. And so that's where we got our start, and now here we are.
What do you think is it about Denton that makes it that kind of atmosphere? Do you think there's just nothing else to do, or
it's kind of like
is it the school?
It's kind of like a mini. A lot of people called it a mini 6th Street, a mini Austin back in the day, because it was small and a lot more communal. I think because you had nowhere else to go.
Definitely a drinking town, just like Austin, for sure.
Mm-hmm. So we just heard Karaoke from Livewire, the brand new album to be released on Friday at Beerland from 7 to 9 p.m. Tell us a little bit about why you throw so much shade at rappers using CDs and flash drives instead of having real DJs.
Well, I think the basis of Karaoke basically came from, it was sort of an acknowledgement of the elephant in the room that exists within so many hip-hop circles, and that's the artist who they carry themselves too seriously. They expect their audience to put in more effort than they're willing to on the stage, and just being very unprofessional. And I think alongside of that is, you can't carry yourself with that kind of ego, then walk up with a CD that has 7 or 8 backing vocal tracks on an instrumental. I mean, you just have to call it what it is. I mean, take a step back, and that's essentially karaoke. But the big difference between artists such as that and people who enjoy karaoke, or people who enjoy karaoke don't take themselves nearly as seriously. So that kind of needs to be, put out there.
That's fair. We see that pretty often at Austin Mic Exchange, which is actually geared towards a certain kind of plug and play mentality, just to get people through and just getting people experience. But I hear what you're saying. There is a certain kind of seriousness in hip hop.
Well, it's also the evolution I'm not trying to stir the pot here, but of the house DJ.
Stir it up.
of the house DJ who, we consider ourselves not necessarily a hip hop group, but a hip hop band. We all play different instruments, whether it be our voice, turntables, the MPC is what I use at shows. So I just think that collectively, if you have your own, your DJ is like your drummer, it's like your backup band, and a house DJ is kind of like the house band, I guess, so to say. So we think to consider yourself a legitimate hip hop band and a force, you have to have all pieces working in synchronicity and together, and we pride ourselves on practicing hard and getting all 3 elements working in perfect sync. So that's what we pride ourselves in, and we go live and we go hard on stage, and it's all about the performance. The music is key for sure, but we pride ourselves equally on the performance as well.
Yeah, and I've seen several of your shows, and as you actually sampled on the album, my voice describing it, it's very energetic. You guys have such a great choreography. You bring just an enormous amount of dynamism to the performance. How often do you practice?
We share a lockout space with a band who are good friends of ours, and we practice every Wednesday for a few hours. But I mean,
minimum once a week for sure, and definitely sometimes twice a week. And we're generally shooting for a couple of hours,
2-3 hours a week probably together. Yeah,
that's commitment
between our jobs, our day, our real jobs.
And what is the vision that you bring when you go to those practices? What do you see yourself as versus what does your performance show you?
I think we're constantly striving to improve and brainstorm and conjure up new ideas. We never settle on a set for very long before we get tired of it and we want to move on. We always try new ideas.
Yeah, just to keep things interesting for us. And it's that rotation of changes in our set that, it forces you to, hold each other accountable and just constantly step it up. So, it's actually been a good, just to keep us in check, with one another. But
it definitely keeps us fresh and keeps us kind of on our feet, and we get to get on each other every now and then, you know what I mean?
There's a blowout.
There's a blowout every
Wednesday.
But it's all in fun. It's something that we really enjoy doing. So we never take it too seriously in beating each other up. So
all right, fabulous. That's good to hear. So you guys are coming up on your 4th full length, second in Austin, 8 years here. I'm about to play a song that you know already what it is because we talked about it a little before the show. Bands, Brands, and Wristbands I really enjoy the track, first of all. I think it's great. Second of all, you tear Austin a new one about festivals. So tell us a little bit about where the idea for this track came from and what your goal is with it before we listen to it.
Well, I think the idea was definitely all of our different points of view of the festival, because each one of us definitely feels a little differently about when we go out and approach. Sometimes we are able to meet up together and sometimes not. To me, it's definitely different points of view of where we stand and how we feel about it. And
and for me and for probably actually all of us, but it's just that self-destructive lifestyle. Like, that's the time, right? Definitely. And it's like easy to get very caught up in that. And it's a blast, but at the same time, you have that long hangover that never ends.
Yeah, and it's like it evolves kind of to like, we're festival goers, and then it evolves into more of an indictment on where music is in Austin and where it sits, and how we feel as artists, kind of. With venues closing and the state, how the culture, how we feel it's like evading us, because it was it's leaving the town because of all the development. And at the same time, it's got a positive spin on it, because we feel as long as the artists here stay in Austin and as long as they stick together, the music scene will be fine, because we're more powerful together than any city council could be or any developers can be. So that's kind of the message we're trying to send.
Great. With that, let's listen to Bands, Brands, and Wristbands off of Livewire from the Triggermen right here on Hip Hop Hooray. You're listening to Hip Hop Hooray right here on KOOP 91.7 FM. I'm Miss Manners, and I'm so happy to have in studio with me the Triggermen. They are doing their album release party for their 4th full-length release, Livewire, on Friday, August 5th at Beerland from 7 to 9 p.m. A nice early show with Ben Buck, Chief, and the Doomsday Device. And then they go on with their outstanding live show. They'll have the vinyl available with digital download to come later. And stay tuned, because you could win this album coming up here on Hip Hop Hooray. So, guys, we just heard Bands, Brands, and Wristbands. I do agree. It ends on a really positive note. But you talk a little bit about the condos. You talk about people getting out of here that don't fully appreciate the live music scene. Do you feel like Austin? I know you think you feel there's a community of artists, and that's excellent. Do you feel like Austin itself doesn't support artists?
I mean, I don't agree. I don't think so. I just think it's people coming into this town maybe not fully embracing artists like they should. I mean, I don't speak for everybody. You know, I just speak for my perspective, my point of view. I think that though you buy a condo in the middle of downtown and yet you complain about noise and drunk people outside your door, well, I mean, this should have been researched before you bought a $1 million condo. So it's just points of view, and like, I mean, it's a culture. I mean, it's better people using that in a positive way to make music and to spin that way rather than being shut out, because it's a voice. You know, we have our voice and that's our voice, and we feel like it's being muffled in a way. So that's basically where I'm coming from in that.
And 8 years is a long time to see a specific genre evolve. How have you guys seen hip hop change in Austin in the last 8 years?
It has changed a lot, and I think for the positive. When we first moved here, we were really having a hard time finding our way into the hip-hop scene, and we actually started off playing with a lot of punk bands. And as the city grew, I think we kind of grew with it. There's been a lot of positive people, Protexter, obviously, people like that, yourself, who are really pushing forward in order to help organize and, promote artists. So I think the hip hop scene has actually developed really nicely here. And initially, when we first came down, also when we were becoming more involved with the hip hop scene, it was kind of hard for us to find the artists, without continuing to play with the same artist over and over. And I don't think that's any longer the case.
Yeah, I think like we got our foothold in this town. We played with punk bands. We were all playing with punk bands and rock bands, and that seemed like the crowd that responded best to us. Mm-hmm. And then we kind of got tired of that scene. No disrespect to my punk friends and all that, but it wasn't going to get us anywhere really. Just people, those type of people wouldn't necessarily be the ones buying our album or keep coming back to shows and booking us. They enjoyed it. But we felt like we had to move away and get to people more like electronic music, like couple bands come off the mind like Scorpio Rising and Protexter, P-Tech, Protexter started. We started vibing with him, and people like that, like-minded individuals that put on live shows that appreciated that, because we played a lot of hip hop shows where people were like shocked that I brought my own turntables to shows, and that really like caught them off guard. And so I'm like, yeah, this is like my guitar. This is like what I bring. I can't play anybody else's stuff. I used to, but I grew out of that. And so we just kind of got with people that appreciated that side of us. Made us feel welcome and embraced us into the hip hop community.
I mean, I can see you guys having a place in the punk community because of how dynamic you are on stage and the energy that you bring. But I am glad that you have emerged more into hip hop. Tell us about where the name the Triggermen came from.
This was again so many years ago. Me and Sam used to be in a group called the Caretakers, which was our Denton band. And after we kind of separated ways with the other MC at the time, me and Sam were just brainstorming. We were still constantly practicing. And it is just like a shoot the gift type, idea, and it just worked in so many different ways, like shooting down these other people's ideas of what hip hop should be. Because even in Dallas, it was very similar that other artists or even hip hop promoters were more or less telling us we weren't behaving, or our stage presence wasn't that of a hip hop artist. So it's something that we've constantly had to kind of battle through, but. Yeah, so it's a shoot the gift reference. And
Yosemite, you mastered this album. You mixed it. Yeah. How was that process?
It's a long process.
Yeah, you got me karaoke probably, I want to say 6 or 8 months ago. So what?
Well, it's not just a mixing process. It's the concept process. How are we going to make these fit into a record? What tracks are we going to cut? What's going to make sense? What are our favorite tracks? All that's part of the process too. Getting the funds to press it on vinyl, that was a big decision. Because we could have gone the easier route, just done the cheap route and just done digital download. But we spent too much time on this album to just put it out there like that. We okay, let's do a proper release. It's been a while. The mixing process, this is the 4th album I've mixed, and so my techniques have evolved definitely since 2005 when our first album came out. I've gotten a lot better, I guess. So it just gets easier, but that's just part of the process. And it's always with me, it's always like mind keeps ticking. I'm like, oh, this could use this element. And then I have to be to a point where okay, just let it be, just let it go. And that's how it happened.
Nice. I am not seeing any features on this album. Are you not a features band?
Wait, there's one person featured on it that's in the studio, actually.
I got sampled and I appreciate it.
And
I think that's awesome.
So I don't know where you're coming from with that. I thought that's why we're on the show, because we gave you a plug.
That's the only reason.
Yeah, I'm sure.
That's the only reason. I can be bought for samples.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, it's this. A lot of people bring in features to get promotion, right? To get more eyes on an album or on a track. And a lot of people eschew them because they feel like they're complete as they are. So you guys decided to go. Obviously, the instrumentation is a tough word when it comes to DJing, but the sounds are vibrant. They're diverse. You pull from a lot of different things, but you guys decided not to use any different voices. And I'm just wondering what prompted that choice.
It's not a conscious decision. We've always been kind of self-contained. We are not against collaborating with anybody for sure, but that's just the way it works out. We never borrow beats from anybody. It's all in-house.
Yeah.
Excellent. So tell us again, where's the show?
It is at Beerland.
Great venue. When's the show? Yeah.
The show is this Friday. Again, door is at 6:30.
We'll say 7.
7.
Who you got on it?
Okay, yeah.
So Ben Buck, who's
Ben was in last week.
He was on the show. Was that last week or the week before?
Or was the week before?
Yeah. Big props to Ben. He's been great to us. Oh man, he's so good.
He's ridiculous.
He
right?
beatboxed on the show, and he's just fantastic. So we were really honored to have him because he adds just such a catching introduction to the rest of the night. So, and then Chief is great. Chief in the Doomsday Device.
Yeah, Chief in the Doomsday Device. Who he just released a new video with Butcher Bear and Boom Baptist. That's available. You can check that out at facebook.com/HipHop Hooray Radio. He's a great artist. He's also been around for a long time, plugging along, really making some unique stuff. And we're so glad to have him in the local arena. And so you will have available there these vinyl records, which I thank you so much. I can be bought and paid for, obviously. Thank you for bringing in a vinyl for me. And you'll have digital downloads available at a later date. Where can people check out all the information online?
At triggermen.net.
The Triggermen.
TheTriggermen.net is exactly what I meant to say. Yeah.
I knew it the whole time.
Brand new website, so please check it out. And we have a new promo trailer on there that talks about the album, introduces the album. So it's kind of we're all swimming in a pool and we're shot underwater. It's kind of some
who shot it for you?
Crazy stuff.
Ben Jansen.
Ben Jansen, who's in the band Slur. We share a rehearsal space with them, so
nice.
They're great guys.
Excellent.
Metal band, so it's quite different style of music, but we all get along great.
But everybody loves pools.
Yeah,
yes.
Everyone loves pool in 100-degree weather, so
Summertime,
it's perfect in Texas. That was the only way we were going to shoot an outdoor video in Texas in the summer. So
oh goodness,
in the pool.
Friday, August 5th, 7 to 9 p.m. Beerland, Triggermen Livewire album release party. Guys, what's next for you?
Well, I think we're we're about to put out another video. We've already started shooting. I think we're in the editing process of that. And then we're just going to hit the road. You know, we're going to play some shows in Dallas, Denton, Fort Worth next month.
San Marcos. So, starting to fill up our fall schedule.
Yeah, talk a little about touring. How hard is it to get out of Texas? Is that the big leap, like from statewide to national?
It's hard to get out of your city. Much less Texas. It's that's part of, I guess, we've played with huge bands like locally, like in Dallas. We played with some big bands, and they were huge in Dallas. And for some reason, they could not get out of the city. It is a lot easier said than done in hip hop now, because we are friends with a lot of rock and punk bands, like I said, that are able to tour well, but we've found it difficult. But with this new album, we're really psyched about it and hope to expand our base for sure.
I've always had the hypothesis that the inability and literal physical distance in Texas is part of what keeps the scene from really breaking out of Austin, or at least our star performers from getting out on a national scale. And now you framed it in this way where it's genre related. Mm-hmm. Do you really feel as though there's an inability to book hip hop shows, or is it a lack of openness from clubs around the nation, or is it just the inherent racism of America that prevents that?
Yeah, you guys have anything? That's part of. I mean, that's. I don't know. I don't want to say. From my point of view, I think getting a hip hop show on a weekend here in Austin is challenging. And packing the show, you got the AMX Exchange on Wednesdays, and then that's a weekly thing. That's great. But doing it big and getting a lot of people is tough for hip hop. It's always been tough. To the reasons like we said before. Mm-hmm. A lot of artists aren't that engaging to see, and it's how we feel. Just kind of a matter of fact at this point. There are some great hip hop artists that are really exciting to see, and I would go to pay to see their shows. So we just got to build an excitement around good quality live acts in this town, and then get good venues, and then hopefully the people will come if we just have that. And it's already been going. It's already been starting. Hip hop now, from when we first started off in Austin, is way. I mean, you have the founders like MC Overlords and the T Doubles and those people, but what people have been doing behind the scenes is great, and so we're kind of optimistic that it will improve, and it is improving in the scene, and so we look forward to that next leap.
Well, so do I. I'm also looking forward to your album release August 5th at Beerland, 7 to 9 p.m. with Ben Buck, Chief, and the Doomsday Device. And, of course, our guests, the Triggermen, releasing Livewire. Hey, be the second caller at 512-472-5667. And they have offered generously to give you a copy of their vinyl album at the show on Friday. 512-472-5667. Be the second caller, and you will get a record. 512-472-KOOP. Guys, any last words for the Hip Hop Hooray audience?
Jenny?
You take it away.
I'm okay. We're really excited about the new album. Can't wait to see you guys there.
Cool. So
everyone will be cool.
Be cool.
Yeah.
All right. This is the last track we're going to play from the album. This is Feed Me Grapes featuring Miss Manners. It's my first feature, I think.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, the Triggermen. Thanks for coming in, you guys. We'll post this on SoundCloud on Monday, of course. And have a great weekend.